Good to go. Hello, sir. How are you?
Nice to meet you, Gino.
Introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Bobby Moore, man of God, man
Okay.
of principles, and me and my father own Stingray Alley.
Stingray Alley. So this place, for people that are like, Stingray Alley, where's Stingray Alley? Where have I seen that? Y'all have been a staple, I feel like, on Staples
Yeah.
for a while. I remember growing up and seeing all the Corvettes. I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact, my dad bought a couple Corvettes back in the day. So how long have y'all been there in that location? How long has it been there?
My dad, he's been there since 1981.
Nice.
So you're going on like 40-something years now.
And then, so he's
Yeah.
a little closer. And so he's been there since 1981. And when did you start working there? Because that's when I feel like there was kind of like this new blood, it felt like, that took over.
Yeah, so my dad, he's super old school. Mm-hmm. I mean,
Is he the guy that's in the videos?
yeah.
There was
yeah.
a video you posted, and you have some great videos, and that's kind of why I wanted you to come in today. You had one where someone was, he was trying to place an ad, or he was
Yeah.
making an ad for like a car, right?
Yeah. So I posted a video of my girlfriend online specifically so I could make another video of my dad pretending to be like an old man that's buying cars online. Because obviously I look for cars all day, and every time a girl posts a car for sale, you always see some old man in there talking, oh, how much is she? How many miles has she got on her? So I wanted to make a video, and my dad was in it.
And he was trying not to make those comments, though.
Yeah, he was making it, but yeah, he's like fighting with himself.
Is your dad all about like the online stuff? Like, is that
No.
something you have to introduce him to?
He, every day, Gino, I have to help him type in his password to his computer. It's 4 digits, and he forgets
Do you
it
mean
every
like
day.
the PIN?
The PIN.
It's not saved? Oh, I guess it's not saved.
It's just a PIN to open up the computer, help him every day. He's excellent, just completely old school, just handshake deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to you about anything to do with computers, telephone. It's
all you, right?
He'll break it.
So is the dealership your very first job? Have you had any other jobs?
Yeah. So I've been washing cars there since I was like 4 years old,
Uh-huh.
5 years old, detailing pretty much all middle school and high school. I detailed all the cars, cleaned them and stuff. At 18, I was detailing with my dad, and I don't know if it's still a deal, but have you ever heard of Cutco?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, the knives.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
knives. It was a big deal at my high school. I went to Incarnate Word.
Your high school?
Mm-hmm.
Like people in high school, your high school were selling knives?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was super huge deal.
That's for people that don't know, Safeco is almost like a company, it's an MLM, right? Like it's a sales, door-to-door sales.
Exactly.
And your high school friends and you were selling knives? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was a big
I'm not
craze.
knocking it. I didn't think that.
Well, actually, I think a lot of people should do it. I'll
Uh-huh.
tell you why. And it wasn't like story was when I joined, but it's pretty much you get paid what you sell, all commission.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was working with my dad. I saw all my friends selling these knives, and my friend at the time, he came over to my house to sell my parents' knives. Mm-hmm. He came in with basketball shorts on and just a T-shirt, just after gym practice, I guess. And they ended up spending like $1,000 on these knives.
Did he just have like a box of them, or is this just
No,
strictly
it's-
catalog?
It's strictly catalog, and they give you like 2 knives to show.
Uh-huh.
It's like the coolest part is you get to cut a penny in half with their scissors. That's super cool.
Okay.
But anyways, they spent $1,000 with this kid.
Buying what? Like, what's
That-
$1,000 worth of knives look like?
That's the lowest set. That's the lowest set.
But what does that look like? Is that like a little block with like a bunch of knives in?
It's a tiny little block. I think it comes with, if I remember correctly, like maybe 3 or 4 little steak knives, and then maybe 4 regular knives. It's $1,000. And
Oh my God.
And maybe a small cutting board.
Have they never been to like Marshalls or Home Goods? I think they're like $60.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Did he get sold, or was your friend a really good salesman, or how did that work?
No. This is why I joined. Because he came in wearing basketball shorts, T-shirt, 2 knives. It was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Sounds like my first real estate deal. Yeah.
And my parents still bought it. I was like, well, if this kid can do it, I can do it 10 times better than that. So I told my dad, look, I'm going to start selling these knives. They were all pissed off.
Why were they pissed off? Because you were still working?
Well,
because they could have got a discount?
Well, come to find out, he was so bad he didn't even enter the order. They never even got their knives.
Oh, wow.
But they didn't want me to do that multi-level marketing deal or anything like that. And they just wanted me to go to school. But anyways, I did it anyways. And I ended up becoming the 14th top salesperson in the country selling Cutco. I think I ended up selling...
Well, you're really young, so how long ago was this?
Well, I'm 27, so I was 18 at the time. So it's almost 10 years ago.
And you're at number 14?
Yeah, in the nation. I sold $60,000 worth in about 8 months, 9 months.
Door to door?
Yeah, pretty much.
No way.
So what it does is, the way they get you is you go in, you have to, okay, I'm going to go sell to my mom. She's going to say, oh, go to see your aunt, go see your uncle, and all that stuff. I kind of had a rough start because my parents didn't want me to do it. So my mom.
Did you keep it a secret?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
But they wouldn't give me any referrals, no numbers to any family members. They wouldn't buy anything from me. I think I started off with my grandma, who I think bought like $400 worth. It wasn't a set, it was just like 2 knives. And then she gave me like a list of
What's the
numbers.
most you've ever spent on a knife, just while we're talking about it? Because this just seems crazy that people are spending.
$200 like a set.
You bought, oh my God.
Well, the most expensive set's $3,000.
And it's a set?
Yeah, set. It comes with like, I think 20 knives. I have that set.
Oh, wow.
Well, I had it, some I lost it. But anyways, yeah, I just started off with my grandma's numbers, and then I had clients all over Houston,
Houston?
Alice. I'd go all over the place. I'd go to Victoria. I was so good, Gino. I'd go in. I'm 18 years old.
You're still in high school.
I'm 18 years old in high school. I made more money. I went to Incarnate Word. I think they get paid maybe probably $30,000 a year.
Than the teachers.
Yeah. Once you sell a certain amount, you start getting 50% whatever you sell. So if you
Commission.
sell 1,000, you get 500. My average order was 1,800.
Bro.
So I'd go in, I'd make 900 every single time I talked to
What were
somebody.
you like in high school? Because if a kid that age making that kind of money in high school, it's got to be like, well, obviously you had access to cars. So what were you driving?
Actually, I crashed my first car. My first car was a Volvo S6, just a sedan, pretty cool. My dad put a racing stripe to make it look European. Well, I was going to like a dance or something, and I had my girlfriend at the time and a couple other girls in the car, and I'm showing off. And I take this corner going like 60 miles an hour on Santa Fe and Doddridge. There's a house with a big metal or wooden telephone pole. I crashed straight into that thing, knocked the telephone down in half, totaled the car. And I didn't have a car for a while after that. And then finally my dad gave me an older BMW to drive, like a early 2000s. And then once I graduated, my dad got me a really inexpensive C5 Corvette, which was really cool. I loved that car. Had like 200,000
So you
miles
still,
on it.
obviously you're still living at home.
No.
What?
At that time.
In
yes.
high school?
Yeah.
What were you doing with all that money? If you don't mind me asking.
Food. A lot of food.
That's probably more than food. Trips, or did you save
clothes.
any of it? Did you invest any?
No.
Crazy.
So a lot of clothes. So I bought like a ton of suits. I've always loved suits. So at 18 years old, I'm walking around in suits. Now I look really funny because I was real
But at
skinny.
school or where?
No, at school we wear dress
Yeah,
uniforms.
your uniform. But where would you wear the suits?
To my appointments. To my appointments. I'd show up in a full suit. In a full suit with a little handkerchief. I look like a little nerd, like a little kid.
So I guess what I'm trying to get at is this right here, the persona. This has been for a while. This is not like a new thing, right?
It's not a new thing.
Because to me, I know we don't know each other really well, and the reason why I wanted you to come in is because I've noticed you over the last couple of years, and I've noticed the marketing, and I'm like, okay, this guy, he gets it, and so this is something that's been going for a while.
Yeah, so I've never had an actual kind of salary job. So, like I said, I worked with my dad washing cars, started selling Cutco. I did really great at that. I moved to Houston for a bit to go to college. I had a girlfriend out there.
What'd you go to college for?
Entrepreneurship and business. So Houston, I think it's Sam Houston, HU University. They had #2 entrepreneurship school in the nation at that time, 10 years ago. So I went to school there for about 6 months. I have a 3.5-year college degree. I dropped out my last semester just because I was in class one day, just looking around. There's all these little dorks taking notes. Okay, 2 + 2. It's like, I got a calculator, bro. And I literally, 6 months of school left, I could have a degree. I dropped out completely.
What was you just tired of it?
No, I did not want to, I was just looking around. And I don't want to be like these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want to sit here, take notes.
Did you still have any type of sales job at that time?
So I go to Houston, went to U of H. I was selling Cutco there too, in Houston. I was doing festivals now, and I already had like a client base up there too. So I was making money. I went to Houston with $3,000 at 18. So after all the money I made, somewhere along the line, I spent most of it. I had $3,000 left at 18, 19 years old. Moved out to Houston, just sit there, paid the bills, went to school. And then my dad called me up one day and said, "Son, I miss you. I want you to come back here to Corpus." And I broke up with my girlfriend 1 week moving to Houston, and she lived out there. And he's like, "I'll give you 25% of the business if you move back here and finish your college degree." And I thought about it, and I was like, okay, let's do it. Come back here. So I started going to TAM UCC full-time. And I was working full-time too. So I was putting 40 hours in at work, full-time at school. But after a while, I started making more money at the dealership than what my degree would make anyways. And once I even got my degree, I was be working at the dealership regardless.
Yeah.
So I was like, this isn't for me.
But when you were at school, so I'm going to pause real quick just because I've been in that same spot where when I was going to college, I was working at the radio, and I got to a certain point where I just quit. And it probably took a couple of years off, finally went back, and I only had 3 classes.
Yeah.
And for me, I was in that same position where I was like, I don't really want it, but I feel like I just need to finish it. So you didn't finish it?
No, never finished it.
How many classes do you have left?
I have 100 hours. I think you graduated
like,
with 120.
Yeah. So you only got maybe, what is that, 3 hours? So 20 divided by 20 divided by 3 is... I can't do math.
That's less than 6 point something. 6 point something classes. But yeah, no, I didn't want to go to college to begin with. My mom signed me up without me actually knowing. So I graduated high school. Mm-hmm. I didn't apply to any colleges. Mm-hmm. And then August rolls around. My mom's like, you got to start getting ready for college.
No, I don't.
I was like, I didn't apply nowhere. And because I was all cool. I made a ton of money selling Cutco, 18 years old. I thought I was the shit, right? And she was like, no, you're going to college. You got classes. So that's how I ended up in college. And then when I dropped out, I paid off all my student loans immediately.
Really?
Paid them all off.
So you have no student loans?
None. The day I dropped out, the day I paid them all off. I think I didn't have that much. I think I had $8,000.
Oh, okay.
So
you're not one of those people that has like $200,000 like a doctor?
No, I had a lot of grants and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I had $8,000, paid it all off. And my mom was crying. She still cries. I bring it up to her. She's like, "Oh, you still got time to go back to college."
Well, let's see. When I finished school after I went back, I was 28. So yeah, I was about your age when I went back because we had my little girl. Mm-hmm. We had my little girl, got married all within the same year, and I went back to school. So she was 1 when I graduated. So you still have time. You do still have time, even for a baby too.
Yeah. I think when you have kids, it really puts your life in. I don't have any kids, obviously. But I think that's a problem with a lot of things these days is people have kids so young or maybe they're not mature enough and to where they don't want to take care of them. They don't really want to change their life. Yeah. Unlike for you had your kid.
It kind of changed. Yeah, we were like the party animals. Like, so I was working the radio, and we just got together, and we had access to the concerts and the bars and tabs. It was just like free everywhere we went because I was broke. I didn't make any money at the radio, but we would go out and be free. So yeah, we partied quite a bit Monday through Sunday, to be honest with you. So when we did have a kid, it kind of slowed me and her both down. Where we went back to school, and at the same time we both got a real estate license, and we kind of went full forward. So yeah, it was more for her. If we would have never had a kid, I probably went back to school.
And that's how my dad was. My dad didn't have me until he was 40.
Really?
And I'm his oldest. Uh-huh. He's only me and my younger brother. And he was going out, playboy, partying, going out, staying out all night, then had me, and then kind of
slowed down.
Not that much slowed down, but he slowed down a lot more than what he was. If you ask him, he's still 20 years old.
So him and your mom have been together how long?
30-something years now.
Is she part of the business as well, or what does she do?
Lately.
Lately.
She comes up and she's like, this is her second week there. Mm-hmm. So she worked at...
Oh, this is new. Like
brand new. So she was at the Chamber of Commerce. She was a stay-at-home mom for most of my childhood. She worked at the Chamber of Commerce for like 10 years, I think. She planned all the events here in town and all that kind of stuff. And then she got a job at Incarnate Word where I went to high school.
Cool.
And then I guess they're having budget butts and she just got let go. And so we had a girl, Sandy, which is pretty much like our family. She's been with us for 17 years. She retired last year, I think. And then our manager now, Kimberly, she's about to have a baby, so she's going to be taking some time off. And so she's coming up just to kind of learn everything so she can kind of handle all the finance and whenever our manager
How many people total work in y'all's dealership?
Right now, it's pretty much just a small family deal. Yeah. I got our lot manager, my mom now, me, my dad, Kimberly, and Itzy, whenever my girlfriend.
Awesome. Yeah, I've seen her videos too. So tell me about the videos, and let me explain why I wanted you to come in today. I've been wanting you to come in because I've met you before, and I thought, man, that's a really interesting guy, and he has a cool story, and he's doing really well. When I saw the video you posted yesterday, if anybody didn't see this, and I'll post it up somewhere, you had a video where you're essentially doing like a sales warm-up call, right?
Yeah.
And so it shows you the dealership, and you're looking in the mirror, like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? It's kind of like practicing for people coming on the lot. My favorite part of the video was the very end where you're like, all right, big dog. All right, big dog. It's like, all right, I'm ready for some big dogs. Like, because it was so honest. Because sales is a hard thing for a lot of people to grasp. A lot of people don't get how sales works. They think sometimes, a lot of the times when they think of sales, they think really pushy, really, really pushy. And unfortunately, car dealerships are one of those places where some guys are like, they do it really awfully. Like, they
Yeah.
don't do a good job at sales, and it comes off, unfortunately, there's more of those people than there is the good ones,
yeah.
the funny ones, the sincere ones. So when I saw the video you made, I was like, man, he gets it. Like, this guy gets what sales is about, because you're being so sincere with, all right, this is kind of the little things I know we all do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, okay, but for real though, like, I need to pay rent. For real though, like, damn, I'm practicing. This is going to be nerve-wracking. For a lot of people to get
Yeah.
into sales, like you said, you've never had a salaried job. A lot of people don't get into sales because they don't want to rely on, I got to wake up and I got to sell something.
Yeah,
I got to
exactly.
wake up and I got to sell something every single day.
Every day,
That's
nonstop.
that's a hard concept. So for you, it sounds like sales kind of started really early.
Yeah, extremely early. I mean, like I said, since 18 years old, I've never.
But
been
did you
good.
know that's what you're good at? Like, did anybody
No.
tell you? Your dad was like, oh, you're pretty good. You're pretty good at this.
No,
Obviously, you had to if you're making that kind of money selling knives at that age.
Well, I just thought it was really easy because I saw everybody else doing it,
Uh-huh.
and I thought they were doing it really bad. So I was like,
So you kind of learned from that.
so I could just do it better.
Okay.
And then obviously it's about who you surround yourself with, right?
Sure.
So in that company, Cutco, my first job, they would have like kind of like cult meetings where you get everybody hyped up, like let's go, and
Here locally?
locally, and then you go to Houston, all over the place. I mean, it's a national company, and you go these guys that they're selling like $500,000 worth, so they're making $250,000 a year,
Really?
selling knives.
And it's all door to door?
Yeah.
Or do they have like networks where referrals and stuff like that?
I mean, what you do is if I was to sell you knives, I'd come to your
Uh-huh.
house. Hey, I'm friends. Oh, first I'd call you up on the phone. Hey, Gino, I'm friends with Mark. I just helped him out. He thought you'd be able to help me out too.
Oh, I was going to say, did Mark give you my number?
Yeah.
Tell him to
Yeah.
stop giving him my number.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how it works. You call, you set up an appointment, go see him, and then you sell him something, then you get a more list of names.
Yeah.
And you start calling them. Oh, Gino just recommended for me to call you, and then you keep on going.
Interesting.
And so I see these guys making all kinds of money. I'm 18 years old. Where can you go be an 18-year-old, go sell $2,000 worth, make $1,000 right off the bat?
No.
Nowhere. And so ever since then, I got really good at it. And my dad's like, well, obviously he's good. I mean, he's selling a ton.
Mm-hmm.
So get me to sell cars. My first week of selling cars there, I thought I was going to make a killing.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, I'm making this much money selling knives. Like, I'm going to sell, the knives are only $2,000.
Yeah.
This car I just sold $10,000. I'm going to make $5,000 right now.
No, I'm pretty sure the margins aren't like that, right?
No, I found out really quickly. So I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know how much my dad bought it for. I didn't know anything. I just know, look, here's the car, here's the price, sign right here. We'll get you all signed up for the financing. And I sell like 5 cars in the first week or so. And I started at the best time. If you guys don't know this, the worst time to buy a car is income tax, but it's the best time for car dealerships because that's when everybody gets their, $15,000 back.
I got the down payment, baby.
Yeah, and they come in and then it's repoed 6 months later. But anyway, so that's when I started. So things were super busy then. So I was selling cars instantly.
How
right
many
off
years
the
ago
bat.
was this?
I started in 2015.
Okay.
So
So when did all these videos you've been doing lately? And when did all this new
So
marketing
the-
stuff?
so the
Because that's
new-
kind of what I'm curious
so
about.
the new marketing stuff was I took videos, Gino, for years without saying anything in them.
You were just pointing at a car?
Just pointing at a car. Just here's the car, the video around it, post it. And it took me a while to get comfortable talking in the camera. So after a while, there's a car, then I'm talking about it. I'm not in the video, but I'm talking about the car. And then I started to get in the videos and talk about them, make, nothing funny, nothing comical, just talk about the real boring stuff. But I guess that's how you got to learn.
Yeah.
But when I started making actual videos like I do now, it's probably been about 2 years.
Okay, so that's when I kind of started taking notice. Only because I'm in an industry to where I talked about this a couple of days ago. I've been doing real estate for 10 years. And when I got into real estate, nobody was using social media to sell houses. And the reason why is a lot of people were still just kind of getting used to social media, sharing things, photos, videos, creating their own, quote, content on their own phone. Unless you had someone producing it for you, it was almost pretty difficult to do it yourself. There weren't the apps that we have now. And so nowadays, I feel like that people that are in sales, be it cars, be it houses, be it anything, you have to really put yourself out there. If you've noticed, there's so many different like influencers out there now that are selling you name it.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not like pitching you every single day. It's just they become, quote, personalities where you follow them, you see what they're doing, and then occasionally when they drop in, oh, I'm drinking liquid death or whatever it is.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, okay, cool. It doesn't sound salesy. And I think that's the hard part
It
that a
is
lot of
hard.
people
And-
can't gather with sales. Is
And you're
that
the best at it.
Oh, I don't want to say
No,
that.
no, I would say, because I don't follow too many people because I don't like to be on my phone that much.
Yeah.
I just like to push my content, and that's it. But I see you're really good, and I've been trying to do this here lately within the last 6 months, is you got to sell stuff. That's how we make a living.
Sure.
But most of what I figured out, and what you do a lot, is you post a lot of stuff that's not even real estate related.
Oh, yeah.
And you just get a lot of engagement, you get a community going, and then you're like, here's this little house for sale.
I call that the punch jab method. So it's like, it's just content, funny stuff, family stuff, whatever, and then jab. And I get the little, oh, by the way, check out this new house.
By the way.
But occasionally when I'm like, hey, how many contracts we have right now? Oh, we need more jabs. And I'll start putting more house stuff out there.
Yeah.
But like you said, when you become someone that people know, it's like you develop a digital rapport. And that's what people can't get, is that I know people, like you said a while ago, are scared to put themselves out there because of what they look like, what they sound like, maybe they're going to stumble. But hearing you and hearing people when you're buying something, it's a digital rapport that you can get where someone can follow you for months or years, and when they finally go, hey, I got my shit in order, I got money saved, my credit's good, I'm going to call that person because I know them. And that's kind of what I got when I first started, because I used to be on the radio for a long time, so that's how people knew me. I was so scared when I left the radio because I thought there's no way people are going to they're going to forget all about me. In reality, it was the exact opposite. I was able to be truly myself, like the way you are on your videos. Before, I was kind of holding back a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was actually getting to truly be myself and put myself more out there. But that's what people want to see. That's how they trust people to go and spend money.
Yeah, exactly. And for any business owners or anybody out there, it's not going to be easy at first.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like you hear your voice, you're like, oh man, I really sound like that. And then you're going to get haters. I mean, it's guaranteed. When I first started actually putting myself in videos, like, who's that girl talking? Who's that? Who's that guy? That gay boy? You're gonna get all kinds of stuff, and it happens to everybody. But after a while, where you really get a pivotal point is when you turn your haters into followers, and then that's when it really starts growing, and you feel like you're building community and stuff. And everybody's gonna go through that rough patch. If you don't have enough haters, you're not posting that much.
I think a lot of people maybe know they're going to go through that rough patch, or it's going to be difficult at first. And they're not willing to get over that hump. They're not willing to just say, all right, screw it. Because I tell people all the time, if you look at anybody who's on YouTube and has a good following, even like the Logan Paul brothers, like all these different dudes are doing really well.
Yeah.
If you look at their first videos, like if you go look at Mr. Beast's first video, you know Mr. Beast is, right?
Yeah.
If you look at his very first video that he uploaded, I think he's like counting to 1 million. Like it's not anything crazy. It's a young little kid sitting in his room. But if you look at them now, like you said, it just takes putting that first one out, second one out, and keep going and going. And then you kind of find your lane. You go, okay, cool. I'm really good at this type of content. So who films all this stuff for you?
For the longest time, it was me. I filmed probably about 90% of my videos. Then it went to my girlfriend, Itzy.
Good job.
And I say some funny things in my video. I talk about other girls, talk about this, and the funny time is my girlfriend recording it.
Wait, so like this last video you made, it had a lot of different cuts, it had a lot of zooms. Who recorded that?
So now one of my really good friends, Anthony, he owns Overcome Media.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah. I've seen that before.
He's I met up with him, I think one of the nights I met you at Cats, beginning of the year.
I remember that. I remember that night you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because you were wearing a zebra shirt.
Yeah, I was wearing a zebra shirt.
I was wearing a leopard shirt.
I wanted that shirt.
And someone goes, man, look at that guy. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, that's Bobby. They're like, you know Bobby? I was like, that's my friend.
That's my friend, my Facebook friend. And so I started being up with him, hanging out. He's a real cool guy. But he's really excellent on camera.
No. Because a lot of people don't realize that those little cuts and those little things, and this is the tip that I've learned the last couple of months, to where I'm trying to do every 3 seconds for like just social media tip for anybody recording content. If you change the scene or something's happening every 3 seconds, be it just a different angle, a zoom in, zoom out, captions, or a different person, that's how you keep people's attention. Because and not, it just bleeds into everything else. And that's what this one did a really good job.
So I hired him. He does. I still post a lot of my own videos, but he handles a lot of my content now. I still come up with all the ideas and all that stuff, but I did it for so long. I understand if I want to make a good video, it takes work to sit there and just edit it and put the right clips in.
Even if it's like a 30-second,
30-second videos, you got to get the smooth lines. So if you look at any of my old videos of just like edits for cars, they're like all wavy and all that stuff, and now they're just perfect.
So when you started doing all the social media stuff, did your dad, who I'm sure starting a business in 81, was all about the phone book, was all about, billboards or bus benches, what does he think about all that?
He loves it now. He doesn't have a Facebook, and he uses my mom's Facebook.
Just a creep.
Yeah, just a creep. So he's on it all the time. He loves it. He's real proud of me. He's a real great man. But I had to start doing it because, like, I don't get paid salary at all.
No.
Like, nothing. So if I'm not selling anything, I'm not making anything. My dad used to do all newspaper ads.
Mm-hmm.
Who reads the newspaper anymore?
I don't even know if we still get the paper.
Yeah.
I mean, the newspaper's not even here.
Yeah, it's not.
Caller Times moved
And
to San
I don't know
Antonio.
if you know the ad sack. Remember the ad sack?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my dad would put all of his ads in, ad sack. And then ad sack went away. So now we don't have any ads. He doesn't know how to work the computer. So now all of a sudden, I'm no longer a salesman. I'm the head marketing guy now.
Yeah.
So then that's where it flipped over to where I had to start doing everything online. And there's still, I don't understand why, there's not a lot of car dealers that like make any good ads.
Because it's difficult, and especially so when I used to work at the radio, you wouldn't believe the amount of money that car dealerships would spend on radio advertising. And nothing against radio advertising,
Yeah.
but they would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to say, hey, this 30-second ad, this 15-second ad, this is going to play all day, all week for months, and that's why they would hire someone semi-good to create a jingle, and then it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, who are you gonna call? Oh, Nation. What it used to be one of the dealerships. But yes, it's a difficult thing for people that have only done traditional marketing to switch over and realize that, hey, you're gonna get more eyes, more attention doing social media. For me personally, that's all I've ever used. I've never used billboards, bus benches, ads, real estate book. That used to be a big one, very similar to the ad sack. Do you remember
yeah.
the real estate book?
Uh-uh.
And so when you would walk into different establishments, different businesses here in town, they would have like one of those little racks that you'd walk into, and it was the real estate book. So you would go through it, and realtors like you or me, they would have a full page or a quarter page or whatever they could afford, and they would show, okay, here's all the listings I have for sale. Because no one was putting these listings online. They wouldn't put it on Marketplace. They wouldn't put it anywhere except these real estate books. And that's where if you wanted to go. This is before Zillow and Realtor.com, before all the internet took
Yeah.
off. So I personally got started right at the cusp of, all right, people are doing stuff online and social media. And then now we're at another pivotal point where social media, where everybody's doing the same thing. So you have to figure out, okay, well,
Yeah.
everybody's doing houses and videos and tours. What do I got to do to be different?
Yeah, that's the hard part right now. Is that I think about that a lot because that's my whole job, pretty much. But yeah, it's gonna find out what you got to do next to just get seen out there. Because the problem now is everybody's on social media. Everybody's got TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but everybody's just scrolling nonstop. So if you don't catch their attention instantly, it's gone. And the problem is if you keep posting, like what a lot of people do, is they either have one video that they think's good, it's usually not, and they post it, and then they think that's it. That's all they need. Post it. I guess I'm gonna get all my business from
you
that
just
video.
wait for that phone to ring. Like, okay, well, this
Yeah.
phone should be ringing any second now.
But it's like it's a habit. You have to keep constantly posting new stuff or refresh old stuff. It's not, you can't just post one thing and you're good. And I think that's a problem a lot of people
No, I
have.
agree with you. And that's in any business. I thought about that actually today. I was thinking about, every day I have to figure out, okay, what kind of video can I do? I have a certain style of videos that I'll do, but then occasionally I'll be like, all right, we got to make something funny, but then also got to do this, because it can't be funny all the time. It has
Yeah,
to be somewhat
of
informational
course.
too. And that's where I try to throw in like the live videos or even like podcasts like this. The reason why I do this, and I've been very lucky to speak to some really great people over the last year, talking to people in different industries and seeing how they're doing things. The reason I brought you in is because you are a younger person that's using social media here locally to really show yourself. And I'm like, why aren't these videos like a little more viral? Like I feel like they should be.
I know.
Because the quality, you're like, I know.
I know. Tell me that.
So good job on that, but also I want you to bring you in to kind of share your ideas and share just kind of insight of like anybody else that's looking to do something different.
Yeah.
Because someone like you, once you learn a skill set with sales, you can do any sales job, because sales is really about trust. And in my business, especially your business, when people are spending a lot of money, they want to feel comfortable with signing over a check or with going to the bank and getting a cashier's check. It's like, wait a minute, so I'm agreeing to spend this much per month. So you combine that with someone who's very pushy or someone who you just feel like snaky, like, this person's trying to just rip me off. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. You have to overcome that, and that's a really hard thing to do for a lot of people.
Especially for used car sales, because everybody gets a used car sales bad rep.
Sure.
And they were back in the day. I've heard a lot of stories. But now, my business specifically is kind of different. And me and my dad, we're not pushy at all for one main reason, is we finance 99% of our own cars. So it's not like somebody's going to a bank and getting a loan out. I'm the bank. So say if somebody wanted to buy a $10,000 car for me, I'm writing a check to myself and they're reimbursing me. They're paying me back $10,000. So it's more of, I'm not making any money from the get-go. So my average cost in my cars is probably be about 8,000, 85 for my finance cars, not my classic cars. I got 2 dealerships, if you don't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Where's the other one?
Same place, split in half.
Oh, okay.
So we got Stingray Alley, which is all the Corvettes, sports cars, classic cars, all that cool stuff.
Can I pause you? How did that start with because growing up and driving by every time, it was like, cool, look at the Corvettes. And you didn't see that anywhere else.
Yeah.
You didn't see that in any other dealerships. So how did your dad start that? He was just a really huge Corvette fan?
Well, my dad's a big show off.
Uh-huh.
So you think my hair is long. His hair used to be super long.
Uh-huh.
And we live in Corpus, and Corvettes don't rust, at least back in the day. They're all made of fiberglass. So like you have a Chevelle, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're to park that thing on the beach,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to get rusted. You park a Corvette, yeah, maybe the frame, but the body, you're good. So it's about one of the only cars you could sell here to where you don't have to fix any body stuff.
Sure.
And it's America's sports car. So my dad got really big into them, started selling nothing but Corvettes. And then he actually got sued by Toys R Us at one point because it wasn't Stingray Alley at first. It was called Cars R Us.
Ooh.
And so...
And that's because they were just down the street, too. Like, how are you not going to see this?
Exactly. So he got sued by Toys R Us, had to change his name.
Really?
Yeah.
What year was that?
This is probably...
Oh, wait, let me ask you this way. So when he opened up Stingray Alley, was it not Stingray Alley at the beginning? It was Cars R Us? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, it's Cars R Us.
You can change it back now. There's not
Yeah,
going to do nothing.
they're bankrupt now. When they went bankrupt, my dad went through Toys R Us, started walking down the halls.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he sold nothing but that. But then I forget what year. I think '07. Well, real estate crash, the market crash.
Yeah,
in recession. Obviously, not too many people going out buying luxury, high-end cars. So he started Get Smart Auto, which is more of your everyday cars. So like, your Ford Focuses, your trucks, whatever. And we'd in-house finance them, so people with bad credit. So then we taking care of all the notes ourselves. So we started that. So it's at the same dealership, split in half. We got a whole bunch of normal cars and then all the cool cars.
Oh, wow.
So when I in-house finance, a lot of people think if I sold a car for $10,000, I'm getting $10,000.
Sure.
I'm not.
Because you're financing it, yeah.
To like 3 years when you pay for it. And so if anybody that wants to get in the car business in-house, it takes a lot of money to do it because say you sell 10 cars a month, your average cost is $8,000. That's $80,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Times 12, it's almost $1 million in cars that you're not getting any money back out of for a period of time. So it's a very expensive business, and you meet I'm in a weird situation because I meet a lot of cool customers. It's like complete opposites. You get a guy that has an 850 credit score, buying a $90,000 Corvette, and then you have another person that has a 400 credit score, and they're buying this other car.
Trying to figure out how to get something.
Just trying to figure out how they want that $90,000 car, but they're trying to get something to provide for their family.
Sure.
So I get catered to everybody on complete opposite ends. So it's like completely different kinds of people that come through there, and it's real cool because you hear a lot of cool stories. And I have a lot of really great customers. Actually, some of my best customers are the people on my finance end that they're just real funny, real cool guys that you think they're millionaires and stuff, just the way they act, real respectable. And you just hear stories about how life hits you different. And, you could be on top of the world and then a few bad scenarios. Your credit gets messed up.
Yeah.
You lose the house. You lose your cars.
We see that quite a bit, especially with real estate. We have people that get into houses, and everything's great. They worked really hard to get into the house, and then a couple years later, then we get the call, and it's like, hey, I need to sell. It's like, okay, where are you going? I don't know, and I haven't made payments in a year. It's like, what? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like you said, life happens.
Life happens.
It's cool that there's people there to help, and obviously it sounds like that you're doing.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of downsides too, because we are dealing with, I'd probably say my average credit score for my buy here, pay here is probably between 450 to 500.
Really?
Which, if you don't know anything about credit, it's really bad.
No, that's so 580 is okay. You're getting there. You can actually get approved at 580 to buy a house.
That, yeah.
You would have to put a larger down payment. It's a higher interest rate. But once you get under 500s, you're like actively making your credit bad. Like, how are you even doing it?
It's like hard.
Yeah.
I've sold. I have a few customers. Their credit is in the 300s.
Really?
380, 390.
Do you offer any kind of credit repair?
I don't. I do every Wednesday. I haven't done it in a while. Every Wednesday, I do a credit video to where it's usually about 5 minutes long, where I just start talking about how you can help because I have over 800 myself. I got real obsessed with credit at one point in my life. I got like 9 credit cards, and just for points and all that kind of stuff. And so every Wednesday, I make videos just how to help people kind of boost their credit. because it helps me indirectly. Because as soon as somebody starts getting their credit up, maybe I can help them get financing on one of these Corvettes.
But also makes you a resource for people who maybe don't want to buy a car or seeing it and they're like, okay, cool, like this helped me out. Hey, you talked to that one guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure you do too. I get a lot of referrals from people that are following me on Facebook who I've never sold a house to.
Yeah.
They're never going to buy a house from me. Maybe they're going to rent the rest of their lives, or they live out of town, but they'll refer people to me because it's providing information that anybody can use for whatever different part of life they're in.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I get people that come by all the time. They don't want to buy a car. They don't want to do nothing. They just want to come see me.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny. But that's another cool thing about posting videos online is it's kind of, I wouldn't say weird, but you got to get used to it, is people know you.
Sure.
Well, they know your online persona, I should say. And then, but you don't know them yet. And so they come up, they know everything about you. They know what you said in 5 videos ago.
Oh, for sure.
You probably don't remember what you said 5 videos ago, but they know. And they come up, they want to talk to you, and it's really cool. And you're like, hey, man, well, you know everything about what about you? Who are you? And it's kind of a unique situation.
That's awesome, man. Well, I mean, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah.
I'm just really curious.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like a lot of the people that we've had on the show are people that I've met maybe once or twice, but I've never actually got to sit down and have a conversation. So literally right now, this conversation we're having is the longest conversation we've ever had.
Exactly.
And I don't even know you, but I feel like I've got a lot to know you. So if there's any question about me.
Yeah. Well, why didn't you buy a Corvette, man? Why'd you get a Chevelle?
Man, so my dad's had 4 Corvettes. And when I was growing up, I was like the kid stuck in the back. And I remember going to Luther Jones Elementary, which is off of Yorktown. And everybody was showing up in like the little minivans and like little trucks, little cars, and then my dad would be rolling up. He had a big old box in the back. This is it's a C3.
Yeah.
And so he had a big old box in the back, and he had 2 12s in it. So my sister would be in the front seat, who shouldn't be in the front seat because she's 4 years younger than me, and I'd be like hanging in the back on top of the speaker, like laying sideways like this. And so like the angled glass is like right on my face.
Yeah, right.
And it's super hot. I got my backpack.
Yeah.
And he's like, he didn't give a shit. The radio's still on. He's like into super bass and like all the old 90s rap music. And I love Corvettes. So, and not because I got stuck in the back of one. My dad had a Corvette. He bought a Corvette on the day that I was born. He bought a Corvette the day before my sister was born. Actually had it stolen in the parking lot at the hospital.
No.
Yeah, at the hospital, he parked it at Spawn, and it got stolen. And so growing up, I always thought I was going to have a Corvette too. My cousin had one. But when the time came where I actually had the means to get a car that I wanted, I ended up buying just like vehicles. I've always been into Cadillacs. I've always been into you had a video the other day where you had a Hummer. Mm-hmm. I had an H2 when I was like 21, 22. I'm still living at home. I was like that douchebag that worked at Best Buy, made a lot of money, and had a Hummer. All my paycheck went to this car, and then it was Escalades after that. But when I got, again, to a point where I'm like, I want to buy something fun, I actually wanted a Chevy Nova.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I wanted a Chevy Nova. I think maybe my dad had mentioned it, but when we went to Sherman, Texas, which is all the way up an hour away out of San Antonio.
What is that?
I'm sorry, an hour out of Dallas. It's right before you get to Oklahoma, and it's a dealership called Classic Car Liquidators. Mm-hmm. And so they have like big old warehouses with all these different vehicles. Saw a Nova. It was like a nice navy blue. I got in it, and I'm a big guy, so I was like, oh shit, this is actually kind of small. So the reason I ended up on a Chevelle is I had seen those as well. I honestly didn't know a ton, but I knew at the time when I was looking through cars, I'm like, this fits me better.
Yeah, they're great cars.
It fits better. It's a bigger car. Got it. Totally remodeled it. There's a guy named Edmund Diaz. You know who that is? He's on Holly and Ayers. It's called AutoWorks Unlimited. It's got a huge
I've seen the shop.
sign.
It's a big shop.
So a big friend of my dad, he actually went with us to pick the car out. We brought it back, and he totally redid it. So I love that car. Like that's
cool.
I would love to get a Corvette too, and I like the new body styles, but I also feel like it's taken away from. Like, does your dad like the new Corvettes? Being a Corvette guy?
He almost bought one.
Yeah.
And I had it up here on my lot. I was selling it for somebody.
Uh-huh.
And he was looking at it, and my dad's the kind of guy where he'll look at it. No, we don't have personal cars, by the way, me or my dad.
What do you mean?
We don't have a personal car.
What do you drive?
Whatever's for sale.
What do you drive right now?
I'm driving a 69.
Does it have like the shoe polish on the side of it?
Yeah, I got the polish on the side. But yeah, we just drive whatever's got gas in it and closer to the gate. We don't own a car.
That would be equivalent to like, I don't have a house. I just live in whatever house I'm trying to sell.
Exactly. Hey, that's a house hack. House hack 101.
So we have a showing today. Hold on, I got to clean up a little
let me clean up a bit. Yeah, the people, they still live here.
Yeah, it's me.
If you want to know it's a good house, I know.
So neither. What about your mom?
She has a car. It's just me and my dad.
She's like, y'all are crazy. I need a car I can have every single day.
Yeah. So
you had the Corvette, and what happened?
The Corvette, and I ended up selling it. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I sold it, Oh, man, son. I really was thinking about buying that Corvette for myself. I think I was going to make it my driver. And he says that about everything. Every time we get a cool car in, he's like, that's my driver. And then I'll sell it 2 weeks later. Oh, man, son, you sold my driver.
Well, I would think, someone in y'all's position having access to different cars, it makes it would make more sense if I was in your world. In my world, it doesn't make sense to,
I did
obviously.
have one car. I say that we have.
Are you saying you've been doing this since like high school? Since that one car you said you had?
Yeah.
You've just been driving whatever car's on the lot?
Yeah, whatever car's on the lot. I've never had a car. I've never had a car except one.
Well, I guess you technically have. Are these cars you have on the lot? They're y'all's cars, right?
Yeah, they're
so
all
you
our cars.
technically have cars.
I mean, in the company's name, yeah.
Yeah.
But I've never had a car titled in my name, ever. I did have.
Sorry, I'm so stupid. I'm picturing you driving up to the dealership,
Yeah.
getting out of the car, and there's a guy waiting to buy a car. He
Oh,
goes,
yeah.
Hey, is that for sale? It sure is.
Exactly.
I just topped it off.
It's exactly how it is.
Really?
Exactly. We open at 9 o'clock.
Let me get my stuff out real quick. You can take it.
I get my dog out because my dog comes with me. So I was like, yes, sir, don't worry about the dog here, okay? But yeah, I'll show up because I cruise in about 9:15, and sometimes there's customers there, and I drive whatever's closer to the gate. It's usually something I posted that day, and so I like to trick you guys. Think it's sold, so I'll post it, then I'll drive it home that night. Think it's sold, and I show up the next day, it's like, oh, that car's back there. So anyway,
It's another one.
So sometimes there's customers there, show up, and they hey, this car's great. I just got done driving it from my house, so come in and get all my stuff out, then sell
That's
it.
awesome.
But I did own one car. I don't know if you know what it is. It's a 65 Shelby Cobra.
Do I know what a 65 Shelby Cobra is? Yes, I know what
Okay.
a 65 Shelby Cobra is.
Okay. Not a real one, because they only made 900.
Just like a tribute, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a real SS in case anybody wondered.
Every Chevelle I've
You can
ever
go to
seen
Amazon. You can buy this. You can buy the badges.
You buy the badges. That was the only downside to my car. Was every time I drove it, no matter how it was a very cool car. And for people that don't know what it is, look it up. 65 Shelby Cobra. It's a 2-door, no roof, just straight race car. But they only made 900 real ones, which are over $1 million, 1 to 3 million. And so the kit cars, they're still expensive. But the first question somebody asks is, "Oh, is that a real one?" No, dude. This is not 1 to 900 driving in Corpus on these pothole
Shitty
streets.
streets, yeah.
And anyways, I had it for 2 years, and I loved
color?
it. It was black with kind of like eggshell racing stripes.
Hell yeah. Jess, you know what kind of car that is? Are you looking at it?
Yeah, Google. That's cool. It had white interior
Nice.
and side pipes. Every time you drive it, you smell like gasoline, you smell like oil.
You smell like American.
Yeah, smell American.
Yeah.
And I had it for a couple of years. Never had a title to it. Never had a title to it.
But how'd you get it?
Well, I bought it off one of my dad's friends. And I was so excited. I saw Ford versus Ferrari. I
Yeah.
just had to have that car. I was like, that's my dream car. I want it. Well, COVID happened. Everything takes a hit. I buy a whole bunch of stocks in crypto. I don't even think I sold it to buy the car. I had made some profit during that stuff. But stupid me. I don't think I
Crypto
sold
could
it.
be like a whole other conversation.
Dude, I could go on crypto forever. But long story short on the car, I bought this car not running in the garage, pushed it out, pushed it onto our trailer, get it out, and then one of my dad's buddies came by, wanted to buy it. The day I bought the car, it's like, no, I don't want to sell it. So his name's George. George, if you're watching this, he owns
Which George is it?
Finema.
Okay.
Owns
I know George.
Automotion.
Yeah.
And he went on to a whole Cobra craze after seeing my car. He bought some really expensive ones. And anyways, so I drove my car for a while, and then I was so excited when I bought it, never got the title, never asked the guy for the title. 6 months later, I tell him, hey, never got the title to the car, need to register it to my name. And it kept going on. Well, 2 years later, still never got a title. And it just rained like
Did you have it insured?
No.
Okay. I was like, obviously not.
Well, I can drive anything, and I'm insured
Okay.
with my dealership
Okay.
insurance. Not full
Oh,
coverage,
interesting. Yeah.
but liability.
Yeah.
But I'm covered. I could drive your Escalade and
Got it.
drive it. But it rained super hard one day. I had 6 inches of water in my car. Like literally.
You were driving it in the rain? There's no top, right?
There's no top.
So what are you doing?
Well, it was just parked in my dealership. I didn't know it was going to rain. All right. I'm a car salesman. I'm not the smart. I'm not a weatherman, okay? Get 6 inches of water. And I made a video of it.
Uh-huh.
There's
I'll have to go back and look for it.
It's literally a whole puddle, a swimming pool in the car. Get it cleaned out, park it in my showroom, and then one of my dad's friends comes over, looks at it, he says, that's not even a real license plate on your car. And
What did you have on it?
It said A Cobra. I thought it was like a personalized plate, okay? Like, Like, I thought it was like a personalized license plate, but it turns out it was a novelty plate you get at like a gas station. So I've been driving this car for 2 years, no insurance. No.
Well, you know why? Probably if it wouldn't have been the car that it was, you probably would have got pulled over. But because it was the car that it was, if a police officer would see it, he'd be like, "Oh, cool." Like
exactly.
Of it,
So I never got pulled.
I'm not gonna mess with that guy.
I never got in trouble with it at all. But then I started thinking about, like, I was thinking of all the stuff I've done in that car. I was like, I've done over 125 in that car. I've done some late night drinkings in that car, spinning down the middle of the road. Like, it's glad I didn't get pulled over. I would have gone to jail for not the car being my name. The car would have gone to impound. I can't get it out, so I'm gonna have to buy it back at a police
Does your dad
auction.
know this?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, is he hearing this now?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm not buying my car back twice. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell it on a bill of sale. And I'm gonna make for sure. I tell the person I sell it to, I don't have a title to it. There is a way to get title. You have to take it to like the DMV. They put it on like a lift, make sure it's not stolen, check for numbers. Whoever's the last registered owner, they send mail to them, make sure it's legit. And I could have gone that route, but it takes like 6 months. I don't got time for that. And so I sold it to this guy, loved it, posted it one day. That same night, he calls me. He said, "Hey man, my wife, I've sent her 600 Cobras," and he lived 12 hours away. So I've sent her 600 Cobras in the past 2 weeks. This is the first one she said maybe to. And I'm taking that maybe as a yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, man, go for it. But I just want to let you know I don't have a title to it. I'm selling it to you on a bill. So I was like, dude, I don't care. Like, I'm buying a Cobra today. So he drives 12 hours overnight.
Where was he from?
He was from...
Obviously, or it could be Texas.
It was Texas. It's the very top of Texas. Actually, it was a lot longer trip for him. He was in the oil fields, drove to his house, which was 6 hours away, which he lived like North Texas.
Was he planning on driving it back?
He came with a trailer.
Oh, okay.
Came with a trailer. And picked up his wife, came down here, bought the car, wrote me a check for it. Nothing. Happy as could be. And never heard from him. Well, actually, I did hear from him. He's like, hey, man, I got a title to the car. He went through the whole process, got a title to it.
Why did I feel like the story was going somewhere totally different?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But ever since then, that's my only car I've ever owned. And it was not even my name. So did I own it? I don't know.
If you could have any car.
Ford GT.
Ford. Oh, wow. Okay. As a daily driver?
Yeah.
Really?
Ford GT. I'd want a newer one. 2020, 2021. And
do you ever have a say in this? Do you get to pick what car you want to go in? You're like, I don't want to go in that car.
That would be cool. GT3 RS.
Okay. So
Porsche.
you're definitely a sports car guy.
Oh, yeah, I like to show off.
You're not about an SUV or anything else.
No.
What about like muscle cars? Besides the Mustang.
I love classic cars. So I'd rather have a classic car than a new car, by the way. But if I had to...
What do you like about classic cars over some of the new stuff? The reason I asked you if you liked the new Corvette a while ago, if your dad liked it, because I feel like the newest Corvette, which is what? We're at C7?
C8.
I feel like you kind of strayed away from like the classics.
Oh, yeah,
and especially with like the mid-engine and just the look of it. I'm sure you've done, a turnaround. You're like, wait a minute, what is that?
Oh,
because
I
it
can't tell.
looks like a Ferrari. It looks like a Lambo.
It's like a
starting to do
McLaren
the same.
Ferrari,
Yeah, it's starting to have those same lines that take away from the original car. I get what they're doing because they have to. It's like we can't just keep doing it. We got to go with the times as well. Have you seen some of these new? And I saw a commercial recently. Have you seen the new commercial? And it's got Dr. Evil in it from Austin Powers. And it's a new commercial for GMC about all their new EV vehicles.
Oh, yeah?
And so it's pretty funny. It's like maybe a 2-minute video. It's not like just a little quick one. It's online and you can watch it. And it shows him and how they're having all these new, I think like 50 new electronic vehicles before 2025. And one of them is a brand new Corvette. Oh, my God. It looks sick.
Yeah.
And it's like just a little glimpse of it in the back.
I just, me personally, my dad likes them. I like them too. But I don't think they look like a Corvette. It doesn't feel like a Corvette. I don't know if you ever drove one.
I haven't. I don't think I'd fit.
You'd be surprised. But they don't drive like a race car. I mean, it drives like your Escalade. I mean,
Really?
it's smooth.
Is it air suspension?
I don't know what kind of suspension.
okay.
I just sell them. I just sell them, Gino. You get into mechanics, all that specifications.
Not mechanics, but you can't tell the difference from the air suspension?
Oh, that's not air suspension. But I do get a lot of specific questions. That's the only thing I don't like about classic cars, selling them.
Well, because there's a lot of people, and this is something I had to learn. I had to learn because I had so many people that would stop me or ask me questions where I was like, it was just the man inside of me. I'm like, I don't want to sound like a little bitch.
Exactly.
If someone's asking me a question about an engine or this or transmission or just whatever it was, and I don't know the answer, so I was like, I need to know at least enough to get by. So I had to.
Is that a 396 with roller rockers and headers and a tri-cam intake?
My favorite thing about my car is when people go, "What's under the hood?" I'm like, "Nah, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that." And really, it's because I have a crate engine. It's nothing bad. It's a 454. I just don't want to show it because I know some dudes go super nuts with their cars.
I mean, your car came with, what, 350 originally?
Yeah, the original was a 270.
270.
Yeah, because it was a Malibu. And
Okay.
after I did all the tribute stuff.
I had a 69 Chevelle
Oh, really?
SS. They're all
See, I like that style a little bit better than mine. My favorite Chevelles, I have a 71. My favorite's a 70 just because it has the dual headlights in the front. And then before the 70s, when it has more of like a little coupe, it looks kind of like a little gangster car.
Yeah,
Those are my favorite type of Chevelles, which is like a 69.
But they're all SSs. They just put the little badges on them. But yeah, we had one, and they're super cool cars, but they're all Malibus.
Yeah.
I mean, like 99% of them are all Malibus.
It's all good.
Hey,
even finding one.
But you can't find them. They bring all kinds of money. And people love them. They love every car I've ever had. That Chevelle I had was the most phone calls I've had on any car.
Really? And what year was it?
69.
Nice.
A convertible. Apparently people love the hardtops.
Well, especially locally. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand about classic cars is that I know you. So you all said you do in-house financing, but you allow other people's financing as well, right?
Of course.
Okay. So when I was, a couple of years back before I got the Chevelle, I had a buddy who lived down the street from me. And, I sold him that house and we were talking about whatever. And he's like, "Oh, I just bought a Camaro." I was like, "What kind?" He bought it. I was like, wait till after the house, right? So he bought it, and it was like a 72. And I was like, how did you get this car? Because in my head, I thought you always had to pay cash when you buy these vehicles.
Yeah.
And so he's like, no, I went and financed it with Gulf Coast. It's like $150 a month. I'm like, my mind just went ping. I was like, oh shit, what can I buy? So I went over and I was like, hey, I want to get approved for a car. And then I went and found a dealership that would take that financing. Because for anybody that's out there that sees classic cars, maybe something y'all have, you can get financing for them. It doesn't have to be cash. I think a lot of people thought that. And then my insurance, it's classic cars with, it's a classic car policy with Progressive. It's like $50.
It was so cheap. People don't understand. You get a Corvette sports car, classic car, you get some special kind of insurance. I mean, it's a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's also why I started doing the credit videos every Wednesday, is because I get a lot of people that come in there for the regular cars and see the Corvettes and they want them. They just,
they're not there yet.
They're not there yet. So if I could, there's 3 month or 3 year term, kind of build up the credit to where I can get them financed through a bank. Like I have banks that'll finance. You need on classic cars, you need about $700.
Yeah.
And 10% down
For the financing?
for the financing.
Okay.
They're real strict on that end. 10%.
Well, for sure, they're taking a big risk, loaning out this vehicle that's probably going to be breaking down.
Exactly. And that's what people don't understand about classic cars.
Oh, yeah.
They think you can buy it and it's just like your brand new car and you can drive it every day.
Funny story. So 4th of July, this past one a couple months ago, I wake up and I'm like, I haven't taken the car out in a while. I was like, what a perfect day to take it out, right? So I take it out. Long story short, ended up, I have a transmission leak, right? So there's fluid all over the garage. I saw it, and I was like, I probably got enough. So it starts slipping as I'm going down Staples, and I end up like on Lipes, taking the turnaround, and I'm just like, no gears. I got nothing, right?
Yeah.
All I got is reverse. So I'm on Staples before Lipes, right before that car wash.
Yeah.
I'm driving like Ace Ventura backwards. I'm going to head out the window in reverse because that's the only gear that would catch. And so when I got back to the house after I fixed everything, whatever, my wife was like, well, didn't it have any lights that came on or any like warnings? I'm like, babe, no, there's not warnings in these cars. There's no computers. There's nothing. You just have to know the car.
You got to know
to understand what's going on, because it's not going to tell you like, oh, by the way, your engine's low, or your oil's low, or whatever it is. So yeah, that's funny. When people get these cars, they're like, oh wait, so I actually have to drive, right? It's like, yeah, you got to drive.
I'll get people all the time out of state. Well, can I drive the car back? I'm like, well, sir, the car drives fine now, but don't be calling me halfway back.
Yeah, putting 1,000 miles on it.
Yeah. It's like, I just recommend you bring a trailer, because I mean, they're the classic
I had
cars.
that idea too before I bought my car. I was like, oh man, look at this Nova. It was over there. It was Mississippi.
Yeah.
So I was gonna drive. I was like, I already had scouted it out. I was like, I'm gonna go from Mississippi. I'm gonna go to New Orleans. We're gonna hang out. I'm gonna get a hotel. We're gonna go to Bourbon Street. And then my buddy was like, no, what are you doing? You have to tow these cars. I'm like, oh, okay.
And even if it did work, that is a rough ride of your life.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, imagine driving your Chevelle for 10 hours straight.
It would have been like that Never in Swingers when they go to Vegas, like, Vegas, baby! And then it's like, Vegas.
And I just want to mention this because I keep thinking about it.
I like that you keep looking at the camera.
Well, everybody that watches this deals.
You're probably the only person that looks at the camera as I on this podcast.
Well, can I say I'm professional talking to these guys? Gino is extremely big, like muscular. Like,
Jessica's like, whatever.
no, like, look at at his arms. Like,
No,
you can tell
like,
this guy's been working out.
Stop it.
How's your running been doing?
Stop it.
I know you ran by the dealership a few months ago.
Oh yeah, one of the long days. No, we're doing good. So Jessica, my wife, are all signed up for the San Antonio Marathon.
Okay.
She's doing the full. I don't have any intentions to ever do a full again.
Sounds horrible.
I'll do the half, which is 13 miles, but I enjoy it, man. It's one of those fun things. Like, most of the time, like you said, I'm trying not to be on my phone, but we're on our phone most of the day.
Of course.
Running's one of those meditative things where I'm like, nobody messes with me. I'm not going to answer your call. I'm going to listen to music and I want to run. So it's a lot of fun.
You're a big guy, so like it's kind of.
It'd be easier if I lost weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. I was playing with my dog the other day, and I got tired after like 2 or 3 minutes. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. Like I was like sweating, like man, I was like.
Well, let's get you off the dealership and maybe we'll go work out.
Hey, let's do it. I was a varsity cross country track.
Okay, so you do have it in you. You just haven't done it. Like,
I'm 10 years.
all right.
And it is hard, but running's a cool thing because it's all mental.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is.
So I mean, your body could be dead, but you'll keep on going as long as you keep telling yourself to go.
So I ended up the training you saw me doing when I trained was for June, a marathon, and the last I will tell you, mile 21 was kind of like you said, a mental thing. I was like, all right, I knew if I got to 20, then everything else would just be like I can do 3 or 4 miles, and I ended up doing the last few miles just strictly mental, just like fuck it, let's got to keep going.
Exactly, and I think kind of like sales and running, I think you got to be disciplined. Like running is.
Yeah, so a lot of it was like no drinking on Friday because I know I'm going to do this, and then no drinking on Saturday because I got a long run in the morning. I got to eat right. It's a lot of prep.
But it gets you not even. Like I see a lot of guys online, Instagram and stuff, like, oh, did you get your workout in? Their whole life's around working out. But the thing about working out is it sets your mind mentally tough. So like mile 21. Should I quit? I want to give out. My feet hurt.
I told her, I said the craziest thing to me was seeing people at mile 18, 19, 20, 21 on the side of the road, shoes off, just said, fuck it. I'm not going to go. And they're waiting for an Uber. They're waiting for calls. Like, you're so close.
Exactly.
How are you going to give up? How did you come to California? I'm sure they came. They weren't local. And just say, nah. Like, to me, I don't operate that way. It was really weird to me to see that.
And then once you get that mentality, you get it through the exercise. You apply it to your business.
Absolutely.
Because the thing, being an entrepreneur, everybody has entrepreneur in their bio. It's a very stressful deal. You got to deal with your success is how much stress you can handle.
Good.
If you can handle a ton of stress, you'll be very successful.
That's a good point.
But there's so many things that want to stop you, like, well, I'm sick, or like, I don't want to show up to work today. I sold these people this house. It's got a leak in it. They're crying to me, and just everything. It's like, I don't want to show up today. And you want to give up. But you have to keep on kind of just, okay, I already made it this far. I'll just make it till tomorrow. And then tomorrow. And then now you're 3 years into your business, and you're doing great. But it's just all about making it that next mile.
That's a very good point. Dang. Well, that's a good spot to wrap it up. Bobby, thank you for coming in, bro. One more time, where can people find all your stuff? I know because you post stuff on your page, but you also operate the Stingray Alley page.
Yeah,
as well,
so
right?
I just pretty much share
everything.
You can go Facebook, Stingray Alley.
Here he's looking at the camera again.
You can go to Instagram, the Corvette Place. And for a long time, I didn't even have a personal Instagram.
Yeah.
But you don't need to follow that. Just follow
Well,
Place.
Bobby, you're doing really, really well. I appreciate you coming in. I like your ideas and the way you see sales is the way I see sales.
Yeah.
Because in this business and in your business, it's really easy to be a bad salesperson, and it's very difficult, I would say, for a lot of people to be a really great salesperson. Yeah. So I think you're doing a great job. This is Gino's table. I think everybody brings something to the table. You obviously bring a lot. I appreciate you coming in. If you could take one of our Sharpies, sign the table somewhere. Feel free to do a big old logo from the dealership, whatever you want to do. You can sign anywhere you want. I appreciate you coming in, bro.
No problem. Next time we'll do something about crypto and houses.
Yeah.